Hi, Samira. Let's take a look at this last set of essays. This is the letter about the dog. Let's see what you wrote. Dear Mr. John, my name is Joe and I am your next door neighbor. Probably you will remember us meeting up at the recent street function a couple of months ago. I don't like the commas here, and I also don't really like the word probably. I think perhaps would have sounded better, so let's try it again. Perhaps you remember us, not will, but perhaps you remember us meeting up at the recent street function a couple of months ago with no comma. The reason that I'm writing this letter is, again, no comma. The reason I'm writing this letter is because my studies and sleep are getting disturbed due to the nonstop barking by your dog. I would like to clarify here that I am a dog person and absolutely adore dogs, no comma. It's just that my work and sleep are both badly affected by this noise. Just yesterday, I had to sleep at my brother's house as I needed to be fresh for a company presentation. Okay. Thus, may I suggest that you schedule an examination of your dog with a vet, no comma, in order to find a possible solution. It is highly probable that your pet may have a behavior or medical problem, which can be corrected through some pills or by some exercise routine. I hope you can resolve this matter as soon as possible. Thanking you in anticipation, yours sincerely. Okay, first of all, let's deal with the easy stuff. You need a comma, you need a full stop here. I'm not really happy with this expression. It feels rather unnatural, thanking you in anticipation. We usually say thanking you in advance, okay? And then don't forget that in our sign off, the first word is capitalized, so the yours needs to be capitalized, the Y. This letter is a little confused in terms of the register, that is, in terms of how formal and how informal it is. Like, thus for me feels very formal. You could have just left it out completely, okay? The rest of the letter felt rather informal. Yeah, it did. Like this, it's just at my work and sleep. Like, that's really informal. In fact, it's almost conversational, okay? That's the way we speak to each other. And so when you see that, and then following that, you see a word like thus to begin a sentence, it just seems like a little confused, okay? So that's one thing. The rest of it is fine. It's fine. Let's see. Word count was fine. You were at 165 words, so no problems there. It's appropriate. I like that you said I'm a dog person and I adore dogs. That's good. There wasn't really much else in terms of like advanced vocabulary. So I would have liked to see some more high-level collocations or vocabulary. And the other thing that I want to mention is that your commas were really distracting. There were a lot of them, and they were in wrong places. You just didn't really need them. So I want you to be careful about that, all right? All right, let's move on and let's talk about your essay. Okay, so let's take a look now at this essay. This is the one about green energy. So here's what you said. In recent years, governments as well as corporations have been under pressure from citizens and consumers respectively to demonstrate green initiatives. One way to show a keen interest in such matters is use of green energy. It is widely believed that besides being eco-friendly, green energy also results in lower expenditures. S. There are some who consider green energy as a threat to energy security. All right, this is bizarre. This essay shall evaluate both viewpoints with the goal of arriving at a conclusion. All right, please don't forget your full stops here. This must be something happening with your computer program. I don't think you did all this intentionally. Now, everything was great, except I really don't like this section right here. Let's fix it if we can, okay? Having some sort of connector or some sort of expression of contrast. So it is widely believed that besides being eco-friendly, green energy also results in lower expenditures. However, there are some who consider green energy as a threat to energy security. Now, remember, you do have to give your viewpoint here, if I'm not mistaken, okay? If I remember this question correctly, it's one of the ones where it asks you to give your own opinion. So don't arrive at the conclusion and then tell us your opinion there. It's not, it's not like this massive surprise. I mean, that's not our goal here. Our goal is to make sure that you answer the prompt the way it is written. And if it asks you for your position on a matter, then you really need to give that position in your introduction. Let's move on. Those who support the view that eco-friendly energy is a threat to energy security point out that an increase in green energy investment means less money is available for development, extraction, or import of fossil fuels. This means that countries that make such investment continue to import large amounts of fossil fuels, leading to higher dependency of fossil fuels on oil economies, which in turn results in threats to energy security. All right, I'm going to be really straightforward with you. I have no idea what this means. I suspect that there's some misunderstanding of what energy security is, but this whole sentence, which is rather long, really didn't make any sense to me. But like I said, I think that the problem stems from the fact that you've misunderstood what energy security is. Let's move on though and see what happens. For example, India had tried in the past to invest a lot of money in green energies, but such technologies have not succeeded, leading to oil shortages, especially during the Gulf War. Therefore, it seems that for oil-deficient countries like India, the focus should be on developing stocks of fossil fuels and not on promoting green technologies. Okay, that made sense. Unfortunately, this wasn't really clear. Like, I read what you said, and then I said, okay, well, what do you mean? Go into it. And then you did, but it wasn't really clear until you basically got to your conclusion. So in the end, it was okay, but I would have liked it to be clearer from the beginning, okay? Maybe it's a little bit too complex of an idea, and maybe you needed to split it into multiple parts, but okay, let's move on because I guess it worked out in the end. So let's see what else you wrote. Proponents of green energy point out that the use of green energy is inevitable in countries as well as the world. That doesn't make sense. Countries as well as the world? What are you saying, that the world and countries are two different things? That doesn't make sense. How about if you said countries, individual countries, and as well as the world as a whole? Maybe that would make sense. Will suffer if they delay it. Promoting green energy methods such as nuclear fuel, LNG, what does that mean? You can't assume that the layperson knows what LNG and LPG are. So write them out completely. Solar power and wind energy are the way to achieve freedom from the possible shortages of fossil fuels in the future. For instance, China is going in a big way to develop a plethora of solar and wind farms. Full stop. This is a terrible expression to use here, going in a big way. It is far too informal. It's not academic, so change that completely. You could say that China is going to great lengths to develop a plethora of solar, not even a plethora, it's the wrong word here. So let's try it again. For instance, China is going to great lengths to develop many is honestly, sometimes the simplest word is the best. Solar and wind farm. Okay, then full stop. Consequently, forward-looking countries like China and France are likely to be better placed, no comma, when the fossil fuels finally run out. You didn't talk about, you talked about the shortage of fossil fuels. You did not talk, however, about how it is environmentally friendly and how it is cost effective. That's what you're supposed to be talking about here. So your main idea in this paragraph is inappropriate. We are not talking about whether green energy is inevitable and, the fact that we need to protect ourselves from fossil fuel shortages. That's not the point. The point is that we have to talk about here in this paragraph why renewable energy is both cost effective and better for the environment. So you kind of missed the point in this paragraph. Let's move on. To conclude, countries have adopted various postures, I don't like that word, when it comes to adoption of green energy. Positions would have been a better word here. In my opinion, there must be a healthy investment developed by countries in order to develop technologies which lead us to less polluting green energies. At the same time, developing countries need to be mindful of their expenditure on alternative energies, which can lead to shortage of traditional energies such as coal, oil, etc. Get rid of the etc. and just say coal and oil, sorry. Which in turn can result in high prices and consequently more poverty and chaos. Okay. Basically, the first thing that I say is that we never write etc. in an essay. You either say the things that you were referring to or you just leave it out completely. So you could have just said such as coal and oil. You're not implying that this is an exhaustive list. You are simply saying that coal and oil are two examples of the type of traditional energy you're referring to. You don't need the etc. Take a look at this. This paragraph, your conclusion, is just as long as your second body paragraph, and that's something I want you to avoid. Your introduction and your conclusion have some very specific roles, but for sure, you have to make sure that you develop your body paragraphs more, okay? Never should your body paragraph be as long as your conclusion. Your conclusion should be considerably shorter. It has a specific role to play. That is, it's supposed to basically restate your position and then end with some sort of thought-provoking idea, some sort of prediction for the future. That's it. You need to spend more of your time and more of your effort developing the body paragraphs, okay? So, I know this is your last set of essays with us, okay? But what I want to suggest to you is, because there is room to grow here, excuse me, room to progress, I want to encourage you to sign up for more essay corrections with us. I don't remember when your exam is. Perhaps it's tomorrow. I'm not sure. But I do want to suggest that you sign up for more essay corrections so that we can confidently say, yes, Samir, you're ready. You will get the score you need. I think there's still some room here, okay? So see if that's something you can sign up for, and I look forward to seeing more of your essays. Good luck.